Today I fucked up by telling a girl on a first date that I work with deaf children and know sign language. So first of all I'll start off with a little context. I don't usually do formal first dates, especially when it's with somebody I barely even know. However, I've just come back to university for my final year of studying and I met up with my old flatmate from last year. She had already moved into her new flat and met all of her new flatmates, one of which happened to be a very attractive girl who we will call Stacy. Now my old flatmate was always trying to set me up on dates last year at university, but I always had an excuse. Now with it being a new year I thought he'll have a fresh start and really knuckle down and stop going out all the time. I said exactly the same after my first year, and focus on my uni work and look for a serious relationship instead of having flings. So I get shown a few pictures of Stacy and my old flatmate is telling me how nice she seems and how great she is, and honestly I just thought, why not, I may as well, what harm could going on a date possibly bring about? So she gives me Stacy's number and we start to text and chat for a couple of weeks and we seem to be getting along really well. So much so that I suggest we should go for some food one evening to meet in person and get to know one another a little better. Now bearing in mind I never ever do this, I usually just speak to girls on nights out when I'm filled to the brim with liquid confidence, and I'm usually so drunk that my confidence is through the roof. However, I feel myself really starting to like this girl. I've never really been one for texting, but our conversation seemed to flow naturally. So I meet Stacy at this very busy restaurant last week. I'm full of nerves but I'm ready for the date. We get sat down and we begin chatting away and things seem to be going really well. I'm still nervous, but after a few pints the nerves start to settle and I get a bit carried away telling my stories and my somewhat crude jokes. At the best of times I'm a very loud person, however, after a few beers I turn into a human foghorn and unbeknownst to me, I'm speaking at a level high enough for the whole room to hear. I know this because all of my friends love to remind me how loud I am when we're on a night out. Now here comes the fuck up. So being full of my favorite ale and with the nerves starting to settle, I'm growing louder and louder by the minute. So much so that Stacy, very politely I must say, lets me know that I need to turn the volume down just a tad, especially when telling my alcohol-fueled jokes. Now I'm not an angry person by any means, but I can't begin to count the amount of times I've been told to quieten down when drunk, and for some reason I decided this night was the night where I'd have enough. So instead of apologizing like any normal person would, drunk me decided it would be a good idea to try and turn it back on Stacy. I don't know what come over me, but the only excuse I could muster was, well, I do apologize, but, you see, I volunteer working with deaf children, so I'm used to having to speak really loudly. I've actually just come from there before our date. Now if you knew me you would realize how ridiculous this sounds. Once I told my friends and my old flatmate about what I had said, they were falling to the floor with laughter. So far it doesn't seem that bad, until Stacy says something along the lines of, wow, I'm really sorry, that is great, you must know sign language then. Drunk me, thinking I'd got one up on her, proceeded to nod and claim that I do in fact know sign language. I think I even threw up a few fake hand signs which probably looked more like gang signs to cover my tracks. However, what I didn't expect was for Stacy to have a younger deaf brother who would apparently love to meet me, as she's never dated a guy before who can do sign language. Honestly, my heart sank. She was sat across the table from me signing something to me and God knows what she was saying. I just smiled and nodded, and to this day I still don't know what she was saying, but my unenthusiastic smile and nod seemed to work. I quickly moved the conversation along and got swiftly off the subject. So now Stacy thinks I know sign language, and what's even better is that she can't wait for me to meet her younger brother, who would be so excited to be able to sign with a guy she's dating. I've tried YouTube videos, but all I've managed to pick up on is being able to say vowels and ask someone's name. I don't have the balls to tell her, and I really don't know what to do. In seeing her again next week, and I know I need to tell her the truth. She seems the sort of person who would just laugh it off, but she seemed so happy when I told her, and she's even suggesting we FaceTime her brother when we're next together so I can have a conversation with him. I just feel like a dick now, and I don't want to let her down or upset her younger brother, but I don't think asking him his name over and over is going to cut it. Too long didn't read. I'm a loud idiot when I've had a drink, and instead of apologizing about being such on a first date with a girl, I tried to cover it up by claiming I work with deaf children and know sign language. Turned out she has a younger deaf brother who she now wants me to meet and speak to using sign language. I don't have the first clue about how to sign, and I don't have the balls to tell her the truth because I don't want to hurt her or her brother's feelings. Edit. While I didn't expect this to blow up as much as it did, I've just woke up now and had a chance to read through all of your comments. Thank you for the platinum and whatnot. I just want to clear up a few things I've read. Thanks for all your concern regarding me possibly be a high-functioning douchebag alcoholic. First of all, when I say really loud, I'm not a boisterous loud, all attention to my please sort of loud. I just speak really loud when I'm drunk enough for other people to hear. It's because I get overly excited, and it was a mix of that and the nerves which made me start talking overexcitedly and get carried away with the volume. Also, I've seen a few comments about the lying. I know it wasn't right, but that's why I tried to stress I never do anything like this. Me and in-person first dates just don't mix. My nerves just got the better of me, and I'm an anxious person at the best of times. I knew right away that coming clean would have been the best thing to do, but I'm so awkward that I just didn't know what to say or do, and I just wanted to move on the conversation as quickly as possible. I said it in the first place intending it to be a light-hearted joke. Clearly I'm not funny. I wasn't actually going to roll with the lie that I work with deaf kids. However, the last thing I expected was for her to come back with that, and it just completely threw me off. I'm seeing her again next weekend, so I'll be sure to update you all on how this turns out. Thank you for all the advice and the genuine concern a lot of you have, and especially to all of you who have helped me see the funnier side of this situation. Oh wow, this is spectacular. Need an update next week. Predict a fail could be on the cards as all the signs are there. I'll be sure to update next week. That's if I haven't leapt off of a bridge out of sheer embarrassment. Very rarely do I read it a day I fucked up and go oh shit. This is one of those rare times. She was sat across the table from me signing something to me, and God knows what she was saying. She was saying, "Do you really know ASL?" No. Okay, now that I'm onto you, I'm gonna play the long game here. Yay, no one else has mentioned that she already knew that Op was lying. He was ridiculously drunk and yelling, and making up hand symbols, and smiling and nodding as she signed. I would text her now and come clean about it. Say you drank a little too much and are very sorry about your behavior. Tell her you were embarrassed and fibbed, and tell her you understand this is upsetting. Or you can come clean at your date and try to learn some sign language to show how sorry you are. Look up how to apologize about your behavior and tell her in sign language. That would be an awesome way to really show how sorry you are about it. It would be a really good way to try to bridge any gap caused by hurt feelings when you tell her. And it makes a much better story. Redemption arc, dude. Also, consider not drinking. It sounds like you're an obnoxious drunk. There's still time to mangle your hands, bro. Just get your fingers caught in some gears or something. I do enjoy having fingers though, maybe if I break both of my arms. Today I fucked up by ruining a movie shoot with Jennifer Aniston. Disclaimer, this should be several years ago TIFU, but I'm a Reddit NOOB and wanted to share one of the most awkward series of events I've ever caused. I had plans to meet up with some friends in Atlantic City for the weekend. I got a late start, so they were already gambling somewhere in the Taj Mahal. I had been there once before, but didn't really remember the layout, except for a long escalator that led down to the casino from the lobby. I parked my car and walked quickly from the parking deck to the lobby. On my way to the lobby, there was a crowd of people gathered behind a security guard who was holding some caution tape across the hallway. He let a bunch of people in and, of course, I squeezed through as he was closing it off. That is where things went sideways. I saw a film camera in the lobby, and thought, they must be filming a commercial for the casino or something. Wonder if I'll be in it. But before I could finish that thought, everyone around me in the entire lobby froze in position. A second later, someone yells, "Action." I start walking alongside a person who was next to me, and ask him quietly, "I'm not supposed to be here, am I?" He immediately shook his head no. So, I see the escalator to the casino about 20 feet away. And 2 extras are about to get on it. I think to myself, if I can just get on that, it would be my escape from ruining whatever they're doing in the lobby. I make a move, get on the escalator, and start taking a few steps down. Success? I didn't screw anything up. After a few more steps, I catch up to those 2 people who got on the escalator before me. And they're blocking the full width, and not walking. I mean, come on. Only at this point, do I see the boom microphone, the camera panning down with them, and the crowd of 150 spectators at the bottom of the escalator. Then someone yells cut, and the 2 people in front of me turn around. Turns out those 2 jerks blocking the escalator were Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler, and I completely blew up their scene. There was nothing I could do. I just said, I'm sorry. I figured there was no point in explaining my series of bad decisions. Butler laughed, and we completed the rest of the very long escalator ride in awkward silence. Too long didn't read. I somehow found myself as an unknowing extra in a movie shoot, and completely ruined the shoot by trying to escape from the situation. Goddamn, I wish you hadn't interrupted them and we could have all watched a scene between Butler and Aniston take place with an extremely confused extra wandering around in the background just trying to escape. Hey guys, I know you're doing a movie and all, but seriously, one of you needs to move. Jesus guys, it's not a ride. It's an escalator. This is the story we all hope for when wading through the never-ending garbage pile of today I fucked ups where someone shut themselves or made an awkward comment to a girl and assumed the world would shatter. Checked out the link on IMDb. The movie has had 38% rise in popularity in this last week. More like last 3 hours. Good job OcuPromoed, a movie from 6 years ago. Today I fucked up by using my parents' PC. Too long didn't read, at the bottom. NSFW. This is still fresh in my mind as I'm typing. I take some time out of my daily commute home from night shift to make a detour and spend time with my dad, 71 years young, who spends most of the week alone as my mom, 62, works all day. Today was just a routine visit. My folks live in the country and don't have trash pickup, so I visit with dad while driving their garbage to the dump. As we are talking, I bring up a video I had seen and suggested I share it with him. He agrees, and once we get back to the house he suggests I find the video while he does something else. Commence fuck up. My dad has an older model desktop PC that is quite temperamental and only likes to use Google Chrome. I go to open a window and see that my dad has 20 plus tabs open. All of them were different profiles on FetLife. For those who don't know, FetLife is like MySpace for people with fetishes, bondage, waterworks, furries, etc. I just brushed it off as my dad being a dirty old man. Unfortunately, the tab I opened Chrome to was my parents' profile page. I not only saw my mother in very revealing garments, I also saw my dad gagged and hog-tied like a pig at a pork roast. So now, not only do I know my parents are pretty kinky, I also know what it looks like when my dad is getting stuffed like a Christmas turkey. Too long didn't read. Opened Google Chrome to share something with my dad, only to find out he gets butt raunched by my mother on the regular. Edit words. Edit 2, wow, my first gold. Thanks, stranger. Edit 3, my wife is a Reddit user and knows her husband posted this from the commute detail. She didn't believe me, so she temporarily created a FetLife account so I could, for once, be right. Now she is very distraught and has told me she can never look at my parents the same. My dad has been a bachelor since I was a child. My brother and I have found his porn, personal pics, and his lover's pics on more than one occasion. One time my dad was trying to show me a picture of my son. He holds his smartphone 6 inches from my face and it's a picture of his fully erect penis. He realizes his mistake and it doesn't even faze him. He slides through to the pic of my son and then puts it back into my face. Also, he had this woman lover that would call him Puerto Pounder openly and without hesitation. We are Puerto Rican, if that wasn't clear. Puerto Pounder is now my PSN gamer tag. He saw it one time, and had the most satisfying dad laugh over it. Puerto Pounder is now my PSN gamer tag. He saw it one time, and had the most satisfying dad laugh over it. I've never, and will never, met your dad, but I like him already. I mean that is brutal. But hey, they are into each other. More so your mom is into your dad, but still that is adorable. True. They're keeping it fresh. Plenty of older folks stop having sex altogether and end up bitching about every little thing and being pissed off all the time. Want some more turkey, son? Your mom really nailed the stuffing this year. No thanks, dad. Edit, stop giving me stuff. Relates to someone else's PC marked NSFW, immediately assume porn.